I think one thing cannot be without the other. Like you can have 1,000 good ideas, but if your execution lacks, it's not going to happen.
Welcome to Shakin Hands, where we provide the platform for entrepreneurs and thought leaders to share their stories in order to hopefully influence others to get out of the rat race and chase their own dreams. If you have any recommendations for guests or questions that you want to be asked, please don't hesitate to reach out. Anyways, if you enjoy the podcast, please like, comment, subscribe, and share in order to keep the podcast growing. Otherwise, I'm your host, Jack Moran, and this is Shakin Hands. If you're looking for business mentorship, I have a place where you can get feedback on your unique personal development and business growth challenges. Over the last year, I've brought together a group of impact-driven thought leaders where we meet every single day to discuss psychology, communication, mindset, and business case studies. We have people who have made millions of dollars, lost millions of dollars, Harvard MBAs, and new entrepreneurs like you and I. Entrepreneurship can be lonely, so if you're looking for a support system, please follow the link in the description below for some more information.
Well, you know, the good thing about having a 300 million people market, that any crazy guy just comes up with something and he got 1 million followers and he can make $1 million.
Agreed.
Just charge $1 a person and that's it.
I always say to people, like, the business idea is way less important than the
execution.
The drive and the passion. Like, you know what the pet rock is?
The pet rock or the pet rock. Yeah. It's like the potato with jokes.
Yeah, exactly.
The potato with, how do you call that one?
The Mr. Potato?
No, that they send you a potato to your house with a message. It's another business like pet rock with the potato.
No, never heard of that.
It's in Shark Tank. That's why I know it.
That's the
so.
That's the testament for me, or like the perfect example of, it's like if somebody got rich off putting googly eyes on a rock.
But that was a good idea. Was
I guess so.
Well,
apparently so.
I think one thing cannot be without the other. Like you can have 1,000 good ideas, but if your execution lacks, it's not going to happen. But you have a lot of execution but don't know what to do. Every day, like the most common question I get, are you taping this? Because
we started.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Are you gonna cut the part where I asked if you started?
No,
not really. Oh,
everyone does it.
Okay, that's bad. I fell into the trap. Okay. The question that we get most, like, of people from anyone, a friend, whatever, is, give me an idea to start a business. What business do you recommend I do to make money? So that phrase about the idea not being such a big deal is not so true at the end. My basic line is, there is no recipe for success. Whatever somebody tells you, he doesn't know. It's a trial and error. And then that's how you learn.
You just think it's luck?
What?
Success?
No, the contrary.
Okay.
There is no, if somebody tells you this is the key to success, run away.
Yeah.
Because there is no such thing. Because there's like 1,000 variables. There's obviously luck, which comes into every business. So
yeah,
there it is. So I'm gonna make you ask questions now.
What's your business?
We have, well, originally I have a marketing business, a traditional marketing business, which obviously has to include now digital marketing, but it started as a marketing business. But then I went into building communities. So the reason I'm here is because I have a community called PanamaStartups, which is the entrepreneur community of Panama. That would be, but I have other communities, so I learned the recipe for building communities with that one and started doing another ones.
Well, I'm going to pick your brain because we're trying to start a community and it has not been easy.
Well, we have a community for you. You can be part of it. It's called Panama Nomads.
Okay.
It's a community for expats living in Panama and all kinds of things. I don't want to say bad words.
You can say whatever you want.
Yeah, but I'm trying not to. So let me try.
Yeah, I try, but
I give it my best.
It's hard. What are the keys to building a good community and fostering engagement within that community?
Well, first off, build the community. You build the community on a common need. common necessity, common situation, something they have in common. And then you have to be really energetic, because you have to be the power engine of that community. You have to keep all the time doing, saying, chatting, engaging, making people. It's supposed to be a community where people want to meet people, but sometimes they have a resistance to knowing people. So then you have to do, and then you have a community. Let's say you have a community of dog lovers, which is like the easiest case. But then in that community, you have an 80-year-old dog lover and a 15-year-old dog lover. They have different types of hours they want to work or whatever. They have different habits. So then you have to find a common link when you do stuff that they both would like. So then it becomes more complicated. And then also you have people who want to do whatever they want to do, and you're trying to go, you have objectives, you want to build it some way, and there are people, I don't know, grounding you. Como se say in Spanish, it's doing ground, like the electricity that goes to ground. There's a saying in Spanish that they're grounding you. They're like taking your energy away. So that's another deal. But at the end of the day, if you do enough stuff, then you start growing. And when the community grows, it's much easier to handle. The beginning is the most difficult.
Yeah, so that makes sense, how to like have a successful community once you have people in. How do you get people in? And I'll give you, I think this will be like an interesting episode and kind of a fun exercise, because this is something that I'm actually dealing with, is a problem that I'm dealing with. So to kind of give you a little background on my situation.
I'll send you the invoice.
Yeah, for sure. I'll pay it. If you give me the solution, it's
coaching.
Yeah.
Which I don't do.
So we have a product that is not just, in my opinion, very valuable. It is very valuable. I've utilized the product, and it has had a profound impact on the bottom line revenue of my company. But my mentor that offered this service to me had always done it for free. So we started within my own company to start basically offering this coaching and mentorship to our employees. And we saw more people experience the exact same results that I experienced before we brought it to my company. And so we are trying to monetize that product. And the people that are involved within it are already pretty successful. So it's more of a philanthropic project. We're monetizing it to grow it and give that those frameworks and those tools and make them more accessible to more people. But although I recognize this immense value, I recognized it from the minute I met this mentor. And within 6 months of meeting this person, I added $20 million. That's an actual number, $20 million in pipeline to my company. But I am trying to charge $35 a month for someone to get in and experience this coaching that I'm experiencing every single day. And I can't get people to pay $35 a month. Is it something to do with my messaging or what?
Well, of course, it's much more difficult when your community is related to a product. Like the communities I was talking to you about as the need, you don't have to talk to people about your product. You have to talk to people about their need. So a need to improve your income is very difficult to sell today, because you have 100,000 people, some of them or most of them not really effective, telling you that they will make you grow your income. I can see like 10 ads a day about growth hacking and making my followers. I can get 1 million followers in one day, and it's really tough, because they send you a lot. So I would look for the need that is not product related first, and try to get them on the human side. Make them it's like the conferences we do for Panama Startups. I many times I learned it during the years. I don't invite people who are gonna talk about product. Never invite people. I never even invite people who work in a company. They have to be entrepreneurs. They have to understand our hurt or what we go through. Then I invite them, and if they want to sell their idea or something, they gotta first talk about an interesting subject that everybody relates to, or everybody needs, or a tool that you can use. And at the end, okay, you can tell them, okay, if you need this, call me. at this number, or these are my information. So people right now are very resistant to sales. So if they feel that your approach is selling them something, they'll be out immediately. So you gotta go the human way, the connection way, on the human level. Like well, in my case, I'm not selling them. Mostly, I don't sell them anything. In Panama Nomads, I invite them to events, which they definitely benefiting, but I give them a lot of free stuff. Like if they're in a WhatsApp group, they're getting all the time advice from everybody, what to do, where to go, whatever. They're getting information of the events all over, not only my events. That's another thing. If you do a community, don't only send them information about you, because they're supposed to be there for a need. So you're not the only one to satisfy the need. So if you want to be like they trust you, then you gotta give them advice in general about what to do in general related to that need. Of course, if you have a dog, you're not gonna talk about I don't know, construction. Okay, you have to talk to the subject. But I can tell them I'm not gonna go with one brand that is the only one like sponsoring me. I'll try to put it in a under that doesn't notice. It's not so noticeable that I'm advertising.
And so
It's like marketing that when people get the SEO, whatever, they come read some information and then they're on your webpage. But they didn't search for your product. They search for some information.
So to take it to the next step, like our messaging is not transactional. Like, it's not clickbaity, like learn in 60 days how to make $20 million on your pipeline. We project a unique set of values, which I'm allergic to the people that you're talking about that are like, have the two whores next to them and they're driving the Lamborghini.
I wasn't even talking about those, but those are worst. There are ones that don't have the bling and they're still trying to screw you. So
yeah, ours is, so we believe that, soft skills are more important than anything in entrepreneurship, and I've talked about this on a bunch of episodes this week, but we see people in the entrepreneurial ecosystem all the time that have went to Harvard. They're these Ivy League MBAs and they have these unbelievable hard skills, but they don't have the mindset to survive as an entrepreneur. So I think the intrinsic values of our community is, first of all, identifying belief systems, identifying like being aware of the experiences that you've had in your life and how those experiences influence your decision making and your actions today. And by understanding that, you can say these are the ones that have a positive effect and these are the ones that have a negative effect on my or holding me back. And then giving them the methodologies to reduce those limitations or get over those limitations, building the confidence and the positive belief systems that you can do it. And those soft skills before going into the fundamentals of business. And I think that another big value for us is aligning your business with your passion and what your interests are. There's a million businesses like, okay, you can make money wholesaling real estate or day trading, and these businesses are attractive to people because they're like, oh, all these people are making money from it.
Their passion is making money.
Exactly.
That's their passion.
And it's very difficult to succeed. In my opinion, it requires so much energy to be successful as an entrepreneur. And it's very difficult to put in 100% of your energy into a venture if you are not intellectually stimulated by that venture. So that's another piece, is a lot of people have a difficulty knowing themselves and identifying their purpose, and then taking those business fundamentals and matching them up with a person's passion. So that's something that I haven't really seen much out there. And I think that maybe I'm like drinking my own Kool-Aid, but I think it's a good value proposition. But still, I've had some difficulties.
Well, you need first. Well, the first thing I would do using my marketing skills is this in the sense that you have a 6 billion market or whatever market, English speaking or whatever. Then you have to find some niche. start targeting some type of people that have, because you still haven't told me the need. What is the need of these people? Why would they will buy this? Because you're selling a solution that is kind of complicated, that requires a long explanation. And that's one thing I haven't seen your communication. You probably found some way to reduce the pitch. But who is this person that needs to, that he has the passion for something, but he doesn't know how to convert it into a business, or the other way around. The other way around is much more difficult if you're doing a business and you don't have a passion for it. Many people talk about this. This is one of the basics of entrepreneurship, ikigai, whatever you want to call it. It's a basic about finding your, and not even finding your passion. Your passion has to be aligned with what you know how to do, what you're good doing, and what the market wants. That's sort of we changed that subject like the three-legged stool. If one leg is missing, you will fall down. But we just want to make some funny things for our conferences. So we're not going to be quoting Japanese history, but sometimes you find people they're just not passionate about nothing, or then those people are not for you. You have to find who is these people that I can solve their problem. First, who are they? Where are they? How can I reach them? And maybe they're people who fly kites. I'm just saying something crazy, whatever, because what we also recommend a lot when you do studies about your target market is other activities they like besides what you're looking for. So then you can find other people that like flying kites, and maybe all the people who like flying kites also like entrepreneurship. I'm just saying something crazy, right? For example, we found out that people who wanted to be in Panama Startups also like to go a lot to the movies, and also like to do a lot of sports. So then if I want to get to my audience, I can go put an ad on a movie theater, or I can do movie night, so relating activities, right? But then you got to find out what is the common thread of your people that you want to get to, because that's what I'm saying. The market is too huge, and then you're losing a lot of time targeting the wrong people. Maybe I'm telling you something you already know, but it's the very basic of building the communities, finding like I'm telling you, the common thread of these people that want to get together. In your case, it's a knowledge-based solution. You want to give people knowledge. So you got to find out who are these people who want to acquire knowledge, who doesn't think they already know it, who think it's important for them, so they will pay for it. Because we don't charge to be a member of the community. We charge for the events, we charge for the conferences, we charge if you want to have a mentorship, we charge if you want to do your business plan, but we don't charge you to be a part of the community. We don't do that. We think it's a great idea. The subscription-based model is very good, but I haven't even tried it. I think it could work maybe at this level where the people already saw what the product is, they like it, they're going to the conference. I tell them, okay, you just have to pay $20 a month, and then it will include you one conference, and you can get into the webpage or whatever. No, all the services it would include, it would be good. But if the beginning, without them knowing what it is, I would have told them pay upfront, they probably said no. I think because it's an innovative concept, they don't really know what it's about. So if your magnet is not good enough, you do the process of the funnel. I don't know. I'm talking theoretical crap, but
It's definitely my problem, not the client's.
for sure.
Yeah.
It's never gonna be if the client has the problem, then you gotta change products.
Yeah.
You gotta change your service, because the client is the one who makes the final decision.
Right. Yeah, it's really good advice, and like it already is cueing some ideas, and it's pretty intuitive, and a lot of the things that you're saying are like.
Sometimes it's very easy to say. Some people call me the theory guy, because theory is really easy to just blur out, but then do it. So that's why I say that, like, Panama Startup is also a startup. We've already been 10 years, so we're way past our time to be like big, but we're in a small market, which is the difference. We have plans to grow and to be in the bigger market, to be in worldwide or whatever, but it takes time, it takes finances, etc. So it's possible, but that's what I'm saying. Theory is very beautiful. Practice is a hit in your face.
Hell yeah.
Practice is when theory realizes that it's just theory.
Right. Well, I will stop with the free consulting.
Yeah. I'll give you your audience some information, and then they can chat me up, and I'll charge them, and then we get a commission.
This is the
Then
this,
you get a commission.
this is the first time that I've just been selfishly asking questions on the podcast.
I always like to be someone's first.
How did you get into this business? How did you start developing communities? Is it your first business that you started?
No. Like I told you,
first
like
initiative?
my business really is marketing. It was always marketing and events, doing events. I always enjoyed it along. I started doing parties and concerts, electronic music, that kind of thing. Then the people of the parties got old and they started doing businesses. So the same audience, I grew with my audience. So then now they needed business advice. And also here in Panama, the party scene has moved strangely a lot. I cannot connect anymore with 16 or 18-year-olds. I don't even want to, maybe be like like in a room with 3,000 people sweating and hot, and open bar that you have to wait 45 minutes to get a drink for $10. Okay, so that's the way that zigzag got to the marketing thing, and then I studied something that doesn't exist in the US, that's like a mixture of advertising, journalism, and audiovisual production. So those are divided. I think in the US they teach you everything separately.
Yeah.
So you just end up knowing a little bit about everything, which is good and bad. And then so I just started developing businesses and see what fit, what work, and that business of at the end mainly I do events, which is the thing that I'm doing now, and the communities are directly related. The community is like a step back of the execution where you have your audience already in. I started throwing out ideas about startups in different events, in different universities, and they didn't work. And then I said, well, I'm just going crazy selling stuff to who I'm talking to. So I just, okay, let's go back and build a community first, and then I can sell the stuff to the community with like a captive audience. I know how you say, like it's a captive audience.
Oh yeah.
I already have,
Captive audience. Yeah.
it's a captive audience that I just tell them, okay, and they already have an emotional bond with the community. So you can sell them stuff easier because they trust you. Of course, I'm not saying you're gonna sell them crap.
Yeah.
I'm saying that it's if they need a lawyer, if they need an accountant, if they need all the things they need to
You've already
develop
got
the
their
business,
attention.
and you can give them, and you're giving them a recommendation. You're giving them someone that you already knows works, etc., etc. So that's the way you go back to the community. You build the community, and it's like the best. I recommend it to everyone because you have people that you can. Right now, the social media is no longer a way for startups to advertise because it's too cluttered. It's crazy. So I used to put $20 one week before the event, and I got 50% of the sign up from social media. Now I get zero, even if I put $200, because big corporations or whatever got into it, and now it's crazy saturated. So
Interesting.
the only way to work right now is either you have a database of emails that you can do a mailing of people who are interested in your product, so it's not spamming, or you can build a community and then start people call other people. It happens more in Panama Nomads than in the other one, that people get recommendations. So they write me, please add this person, please add this. So we get free members without using any. I don't have any advertising for Panama Nomads, for example. We have 800 members, which in Panama is like a
Great community.
good group for WhatsApp, which I don't want to advertise any company here, but right now, the only tools that we have is WhatsApp. So you can do a WhatsApp group, add people, write them directly. You need to come out of the basic stuff, because if not, you won't be seen if you're small. So you need to poke them in the eye, like, hello, remember me? That's the truth. Sad, but true. So you got to do it. And obviously, like, I'll give you an example, which is crazy. Or our mailing list for Panama Startups is we send emails every day to the people, but it's not Panama Startups sending people. Any member, sending the emails, any member of the community can send an email to the whole community. Of course, we read them before, but we send email. People receive emails from Panama Startups every day with a promotion, with somebody selling stuff, with somebody asking for something. I need this or I need that. People, it's a collaboration.
That's a great
But
idea.
we don't get people logging out. We don't get, like, if you get a newsletter more than once a week, you will go out for sure, because you have your mailbox is like crazy. But we don't get people getting out. And then also people show me sometimes, here's my inbox, Panama Startup, Panama Startup, Panama Startup. But they don't go out because they're saying, okay, I read the subject. If I'm interested, I read it. If I'm not, because sometimes I get clients. That also happens. The people, I'm asking for a photographer, but somebody reads, I do like marketing, and I read, oh, this guy needs a photographer. He probably needs also marketing. So I write him, hey, if you need marketing for your photos you're going to take, I'll help you. And so it's like, it's something in motion that is really, really effective. So it was very difficult finding a free service online that does that I'm saying, which I will not promote.
Where have you seen marketing? How has marketing changed from when you got into the business to where it is now?
Nah, that's a whole show, man. It's nothing like it. Nothing like it. And especially now, of course, I'm not talking about the most favorite subject of everyone, which probably they hear a lot in your podcast about artificial intelligence. So once that came into the game, but it's a funny thing, like, how creative can AI really be? At what point are humans really a little bit more creative? At what point the consumer really needs creativity, or just wants the information? If you see the most successful advertising in the US, they're all going and bringing like animals, talking animals, or something that makes it more empathic, because if not, it's rational, and rational is never better than emotional, in my opinion. But there's no way to. But I always still make an emphasis on something that we do. I make an emphasis to the clients that let's include always something in a one-on-one contact effort, which is called an activation, or I don't know how you call it in the US, but it means something you do live with people and interact live. Because if you do, let's say you do an ad and you get 30,000 clicks or whatever, you don't really know if how many of these people are really at the end of the funnel. It's maybe whatever. But when you go and you touch 1,000 people one by one and give them something and explain them or show them the product working or whatever, it's like you're going to make a better impression on that person. And it's more probable for that person to buy your product. So really, your question is huge. So call me on another day.
We'll have to have part two.
Yeah, because really, it's really, really, you can even relate it. It's totally different.
What do you see internally or personally as your biggest limitation to growing for yourself, not for your business or the industry, but
fear of losing money. I'm always it's part of my personality, but I'm very careful with the money. And sometimes with business, you can't do that. Really, you have to. And I've had investors in my businesses. Sometimes my investors are really also stingy, so it makes it more difficult. But I think that would be like, I started businesses 20 years ago that if I would put money, I would be in another level. And there are people who came much after me doing the same thing, but they went all in and they're big. So I chose the conservative way, which is nice for your health, your health of mind, but it's not the best practice for businesses. You gotta put the money where your mouth is.
what's the biggest horror story that you've encountered to date as an entrepreneur?
You will have to define a horror story. You mean like a business that's like well, I'll give you an example. I myself, I try not to tell the people that come to us that the idea sucks, or the idea is not gonna work. Don't do it. Don't give me money to do your business plan. Sometimes I even, because we have in every business plan, when we do, we first meet with the person to assess what is your idea, what are you trying to do. And sometimes I've thought like, hey, dude, don't do it. But sometimes I've thought that about projects that end up getting money and not doing nothing, but doing something with the money, or at least trying, and maybe I'm destroying a dream. I don't know. So I got a guy from the interior of the country, and he came to me, and I want to do a wallet because I was seeing this TV show somewhere that wallets are gonna be the next thing. So I want to do a wallet. I say, great. So do you know how to program? No, I don't know how to program. Okay, so you have $60,000 to pay someone to program this wallet. No, I don't have 60,000. Do you know what a wallet is? So some people just, so I didn't do the business plan for this guy, but there you find a lot of people that just maybe saw something, or they're excited about something, a tendency. And we tell people a lot, like, you gotta find, okay, you have the idea, you want to work, you have the energy, find some partners, find somebody who can teach you. Where really our first advice most of the time is start working in a company that is related to the field you like or you're interested in. Learn on their money, make mistakes on their money, save money, and then when you've done all these things and you have a couple of years and you found, like, in this sector some real problems, these companies has some problem that is not satisfying the audience or the public, then start your business. Not quit. Start your business. Start doing it at nights, weekends, whatever you want to do it. Still keep living on the company's money. And then when you're selling and when you can live on the sales of your startup, then quit. But don't, because you don't know how many people quit 6 months later, they're looking for work because they don't have enough money to survive. So my advice usually is that one. To learn about the problem you want to solve, it's going to cost you a lot of money and time. So go work for someone who's related to that area and learn there. That's like well, it's not obviously all the time, but it's possible to do it. If you've seen many of the people who are solving problems, like some people are solving minuscule problems, like the connection between this and that, they found out because they started working in a company and they saw that the company had this problem and couldn't solve it. So they just found a way to program something else that helped them. And sometimes they sold their product to the company where they worked. So it's like win-win for everyone, right?
Do you think anyone can be an entrepreneur?
Yes, but not successful entrepreneur.
What is required to be a successful entrepreneur?
Well, we do a whole conference called "Do you have the entrepreneur DNA?" So the first thing you gotta have is tolerance for not knowing what's gonna happen. Incertidumbre. I don't even know if that word exists in English, but it means that anything can happen and you're not in control because you're small, whatever. You gotta be able to not get a paycheck and then survive because all the income is up to you. You gotta be willing to do every job in the company. You gotta be willing to mop the floor if it's needed, and not that nothing is yucky for you because you gotta be doing everything. So there's some things that not everybody tolerates. We do this conference, and some people have come up to me. I want to thank you because you showed me that I gotta work in a company because I'm not gonna be able to take all this. And we've been doing this for 10 years and experienced all the ups and downs of startups. And I can tell you it's a very tough road. So you gotta be able to keep yourself motivated at all time by yourself. Nobody's gonna be, there's no coach giving you a massage or telling you can do it. You gotta motivate yourself. You gotta find in yourself motivation to keep going when the things really go bad, which is probably gonna happen. You gotta accept all the no's you're gonna get and keep going. So it's not for any kind of mentality. It's a really, really fighter mentality. You gotta be a real fighter and always. That's why it's so important to have a motivation. So what is we're talking about passion or whatever, but we tell people whatever your motivation is that you can find to keep you going, use it. If it's okay, I want to shut up everybody that's telling me you cannot do it. That's a motivation. They say it's a petty motivation. I don't care. It's a motivation and it'll keep you going, and then you will show everybody that you were right or something like that. So not everybody's going to be a successful entrepreneur. But I think you've probably heard that answer before. So
Yeah.
not an original on that
mixed.
subject.
There are some questions that we get one answer. There's some questions that are mixed, and that's a mixed one, conflicted. Some people say yes, some people say no.
Yeah, they who say yes, they haven't been in this business
Yeah.
or long enough. Well, it was funny because there's a generational gap there. Strange, if I'm like X or whatever, I don't know. But if you ask Gen Zs, mostly will say yes to that answer. Anybody can be an entrepreneur because they have it really easy. If you're like, I went to a conference where all the people were like Gen Zs, but with money, from families with money. So for them, there's no way to fail. Like, I'm getting the money, I'm doing my thing, and I'm in my house. I travel, then I come back. I sell some more wallets or purses or whatever, and of course, how can you not be successful? It's so easy. Then you get the other side of the coin. If you go to like people who are killing themselves to make ends meet, then that's another story, right? So depends on who you ask.
Yeah. What if you had $1 million of guilt-free capital to deploy? How would you deploy it within your company?
Well, I think my company mostly needs structure. So I would probably, like I told you before, if you give me $1 million, I would probably spend like 100,000 and save the rest and hire not so expensive people. That's not necessarily a good idea, but you're asking me what I would do. So, but the truth is, yeah, you build more structure so the company can grow. I'm a solopreneur. I don't know if you heard that.
Yeah,
Well,
of course.
I'm a solopreneur and I hire people for the different things I need on a event basis.
Freelancers.
Yeah, people who I need, volunteers or whoever I need for, depending on what I need for a different event. But it's very important that you bounce off someone like ideas and somebody that gives you a different perspective. Like, for example, the example I'm giving you about Gen Zs, I don't have a connection with Gen Zs. I cannot be the spokesperson for Panama Startup for the Gen Zs because I don't speak their language. So I've tried to find people in that age range that can can advise me or do the work that be needed to communicate with that target. Because right now, especially in Panama, I don't know, probably in the rest of the world also, the Gen Zs are like the ones that are looking a lot for advice, counseling, mentorship, because they want to do a business, but they I don't know why they feel like they need it more than the old ones that say, oh, I'm going to do my way, or I did it, or I tried it and I failed and I learned, or whatever, right? So structure is very important, that you find someone that's going to bounce off your ideas, give you a different perspective, talk to you. So if it's not a partner, that you don't want to have a partner, at least hire someone that you feel that can do that. So that would be my first investment. I wouldn't invest so highly on marketing, which is like a mistake. But some people say that hiring is also a mistake to do, like, to grow quickly. So
Yeah. Are you from Panama originally?
yeah.
Why do you think Panama is or isn't a good place for entrepreneurs?
Well, the people like the Panama ambience a lot. I would say that the ecosystem in Panama for startup is it's very young or very small compared to other countries. But you find a lot of startups or entrepreneurs here whose business is not here. It's you find, well, you're an example.
Yeah.
Like, you've been here a year doing something and you probably haven't even gone to any startup event here in Panama.
Zero.
Because many people come here, they like the place, they like the ambience, the living, the way of living here is very nice, especially if you're in the bubble, like we are here in the bubble. Okay, but they don't have they don't relate to the ecosystem here, and there's a lot of obviously expats, right, who are in that situation. So But for doing the startup, you could see it as an advantage to have a small market that you can validate your idea and test it without probably sacrificing too much, see how it goes, make it like a test market, and then you see how here, this is what the comments I got. Obviously, I think in my view, every country has a different way of thinking. So I don't know how that affects. People can tell you, well, it's Latin America. I can tell you, people in Brazil think like nothing like a Panamanian. A Colombian doesn't think like a Mexican. So sometimes when they say, okay, it has to be like a pretty universal need if you want to test it in one country and see, so it works in others, right? Sometimes I really don't know how they do it. If you validate in the U.S., like if you go in a small town of the U.S., well, you have that situation also there. If it's New York, you're not gonna relate to people in, I don't know, Idaho, whatever. I don't know nothing, but maybe you can go to a city, try it out with 10,000 people, see how it works out, and you won't lose anything because there's a million people. Here, you don't have that luxury, because if you do an MVP and people don't like it, they're gonna talk to each other, and the market is really small. They're not gonna try it afterwards to see if you fixed it. They're just gonna go like, hey, I went to that thing and it fell down and it didn't work. It didn't give me what it said or whatever, and then you're out. So in that sense, it's more difficult, and many projects here to grow have to go to another country. But it's like if you want to try stuff, if you want to have a good time, people come here mostly to have a good time. The government won't get in your face so much. You have a lot of banks here. The traveling is easy to any part of the continent, any part of. So that's mainly the benefits of not so much of the startup ecosystem, which I'm telling you is like beginning, and we have a lot to do yet. We have a lot of projects. Now that I think that, I know if you probably noticed that more people are putting their eyes on Panama, so more people from other countries are coming, and they're like saying, oh, why don't you have that here? And I can bring the financing to do it, which is always what's gonna lack, the financing, because there's the people and there's the will to do it. But if you want to do a big project, there's one VC and a half in Panama. I say like 1.5. So and they maybe give you $100,000 there. That's like their highest investment.
Wow.
For the VCs, right? Then there's a lot of projects that are the best projects you find in technology in Panama. Most of them are paid by family money. From what I'm saying, that there's a lot of young people, they go to the US, they like a project, they do it here, and they have the money from the family to do it. And then they get money from accelerators or whatever, because it's a good project. But it's difficult to find the financing. We also have grant money, but I think the most that it goes is to $60,000.
Wow.
Non-refundable, which is good. But so people start doing, if you're a programmer, you have that advantage because you won't have that cost. We just have a big blockchain event here in Panama, the IT Canal. And then we had a hackathon there, and they were very interesting project that have 15 days to develop something, and they developed really good looking things. So I think with AI, of course, which already everybody's using, the speed of programming is getting so fast that the investment is going to go lower. You can develop things faster and cheaper because of AI, so more people are going to be able to come up with interesting things without having the need to for investment.
Wow, that's a very interesting perspective.
Yeah, like in the US, you have this VC race where some people just want to go, they just do their what they're doing in their business to go to the next round and get more money. They're not selling, they're not bringing value. They don't want to.
All they're doing is raising money.
They don't want to help people. They became expert in rounds, in pitching to investors.
Yeah.
We don't have that luxury here, so we have to do something that really is going to do something. We're going to help somebody or work in some way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would be, and this is my final question, what is the single biggest piece of advice that you would give to new entrepreneurs?
Don't do it. No, the truth.
That's hilarious.
Keep studying and go get a real job. No, the truth is, I think entrepreneurship is really great. People think it gives you more time. People think that you're gonna have more flexibility, but the truth is, you're gonna work. If you're really passionate, like you say, you're gonna work 24 hours a day on your project because you love it or because you have a real motivation. You want to be successful. for whatever reason, what it is, take care of your family or whatever, or really bring something that you believe is going to help people, which is the best situation possible. So my best advice would be, at the beginning, find someone to give you guidance. You will say, if read a really good book that somebody recommends, but the book is not enough. I'm writing a book, by the way. It's almost published. So my best advice for someone would be, if you wanna save time and money, find someone who's already doing it and get advice. Especially better if it's in your same area of development. So you can save time, because they will tell you what their experience was. Maybe it won't be exactly for you, but you will be able to find ways to. So if you had to choose one, it would be that. Get a really good mentor, somebody that really has been doing it, an entrepreneur that has a successful business, that can tell you the first, especially at the beginning, or be a part of a community. If you don't have that mentor, maybe try to find a community of support that can tell you the mistakes they've made. This will help you grow a lot faster than if you just go and try to do it yourself. And many people just throw themselves out and do it, which is great. We always tell people, if you have doubts, if you're gonna stop for any reason, don't. If you're waiting to get a mentor and you're gonna start because you don't have a mentor, forget about the mentor. Start. Fail, like they say, right? So, learn on the way. But if you can avoid a lot of hurt, get someone to guide you the most that you can, and then you'll get a runway to get faster to where you want to go, and safer.
If people are interested in connecting with you, or they're interested in your community,
That last one was the last question. I'm sorry.
Where can they find you?
Sorry. Okay, yeah, it's easy, because in English it's easy. In Spanish, I have to spell the letters.
That's a first.
PanamaStartups.
That's it.
Yeah, so you can find us in all the socials, in LinkedIn. I don't know. I don't want to say advertise again these people, but our email is tougher to say in English. So mostly I'm responding on all the chats in the socials. So you'll find me there.
Awesome, and we'll link all of it below the video.
Perfect, beautiful. I hope to hear from more your people so I can sell them books, because they're not gonna live in Panama, but someday we'll have the webpage. The webpage, it's like a basic thing to have a webpage. We have a webpage, but it's just information. So let's hope someday we'll do a blockchain webpage. Blockchain people are putting a lot of money now for new projects, because they want people to be on blockchain.
Really?
So there's a lot of people, DAOs. Have you heard of DAOs? DAO, decentralized.
Yeah.
They have a lot of money. I'm talking millions and millions of dollars, and they're always looking for projects that want to develop in blockchain, so more people would be in that technology. So I'm not going to advertise the one that sponsored our event last week, but we connecting with them, and let's see what happens. Because the thing is that I wasn't really clear what blockchain was, but at the end of the day, I don't have to be clear. I just, instead of doing HTML or Java or something, you just got to tell the programmer, do blockchain, and these other people will give me money to be able to develop the full product or whatever.
Wow.
So let's hope the webpage will be somewhere soon.
Sweet deal. Well, I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks. I hope a lot of luck. And you have homework to get on Panama Nomads?
For sure.
And then we'll put you on some conferences. How's your Spanish?
Mediocre, but I'm working on it.
Okay, good. So we can help you with that too if you want.
Sweet. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
That was...